Hello. Welcome to the After That Little Bit of Darkness. Welcome to Tedi Unscripted with Rachel Alfonso.
Hi.
If you guys were watching the Brooklyn Cafe the other day, you may have seen her with her amazing book, What Cars Say. And today is the launch.
Yes. Noon
today. Tell me about what's going on. Tell me about what's happening.
So today, officially, we launch pre-order. Beforehand, it's all been like waitlist only, just signing up, so that way you can get notified of when pre-orders go live. But today is officially the day where you can, put the payment in, secure your copy, and then the moment that they get here to my warehouse in South Florida, which is the timeline we're about still 3 weeks out. But the moment it happens, then I start packaging them up and shipping them out and getting them to your doorstep.
And I have to say, and this is like full disclosure, when Katie first told me, she's like, hey, I have a friend, she's writing a children's book, it's about cars. I was expecting kind of like little paperback, like whatever, like, yeah, the little kid wrote a car. This is like a book. Like, this is like a real, it's a thing.
It's real.
So incredibly amazed.
Thank
and
you.
So much respect for you for making, like, this is a real thing. It has little sound things, and you've recorded all the sounds for the cars, right?
Yep, we legit took like an old school microphone that you're supposed to do like on yourself. I'm not a tech person, so I don't know what they're called.
We have one over there.
One of those, and we went to a bunch of different dealerships here in South Florida. They're all, mentioned in the book because they were such a big help for us. We went there, me and my camera guy, get in, turn it on, rev it up, and that's exactly how we got our sounds. So they're all real, genuine car sounds.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool because like when you have like the cow says moo, it's like a distorted fake moo.
It's really scary. The computer's like 80 years old when it does
exactly. I'm like, that's not really how a cow sounds, but sure, for children reference, why not?
But this is cool because I didn't realize I'm not a huge car person. My mother is a huge car person.
Okay.
My mother would probably be able to hear one of the sounds blindfolded and know exactly what car it is. She's a huge car person.
Okay.
I didn't get that gene. I'm not that smart. But it is really cool because I didn't realize, you don't think about like, oh, that car makes like a very distinctly different noise.
Yep.
Like, of course, something, diesel I know makes a different sound than like a smart car. I know that
a
much.
Vacuum cleaner.
Yeah. You're like a little dustbuster somewhere. But this is so cool hearing I keep hitting the table.
You're fine.
It's so bad. It's so cool hearing the differences between each car, and then you get to read about it and there's all the trivia in that. Yeah. What inspired you to write like a book about cars?
So it's funny that you said that about your mom. When I worked at a dealership, XL Auto, it's where I kind of got my start to, bring this book to life. I used to be the receptionist, so I would sit at the front desk and all the cars are parked behind us in the showroom. And they were always moving cars in and out for cleaning or for selling. And eventually over time, I worked there for about a year, and it took me about 3-4 months, but I ended up being able to know whatever car they were pulling out simply based on how it sounded.
You, my mom, man.
I know, it's weird because like I tell that story and I'm like, maybe that's why I wanted to do this book. But I actually got the inspiration and I got the idea when I traveled to Italy last year.
Oh.
And as like someone that has never been out of the country, it was weird for me because I'm like walking down these streets. I'm like, what are these cars? Like, there's so many random types of cars that we don't see in America. Like, not even the makes and models. Like, it's weird. And I was like, this is really cool. And then my boyfriend at the time was like, there's cars all over the world that don't meet certain standards. He's like, there's cars in France that aren't in Italy, that aren't in the US, that are only in France, and like things like that. And I was like, how cool would it be if I wrote a book that taught kids about like the different makes and models of cars all over the world? And then I ended up narrowing it down because I'm like, well, there's not that many exciting ones. Like, there's cool ones and everything like that, but I was like, I need a hook. And so what I decided to do was I was like, what if I did it where all the cars said their language, like a German car spoke German and like an Italian car spoke Italian.
Oh, I like that.
But see, another round of like trial and error, I was like, there's only like 6 or 7 cars that come from somewhere that has a different language other than, English. So I was like,
here, they're going to switch out your mic.
Oh, yeah,
I guess one of them's too low. We are a live production studio. Full live.
But then I finally came to the conclusion. I was like, you know what? I was like, what if I just taught kids what cars say?
Yeah.
And what other noise does a car make? I mean, besides the horn. But when they turn on and when they rev. And I think it has a lot of personality and a lot of characteristic to the car. Yeah. So I just went across the board of cars that were notable to everyday people that aren't car people. Like we have Honda Civics, a Jeep Wrangler, a Mini Cooper. And then for, my exotic car niche people, I have Paganis, Bugatti, McLaren, Lamborghini. So there's everything in there. And it just ranges from the entire, like, there's muscle cars, there's luxury cars, there's everything and anything you'd see on the road. And now you can identify it not only by the pictures, but by the sound.
And I think it's so smart, too, because I have to say, like I said, I don't know cars. I'm not a huge car person. I wish I was. But I've gone to, my boyfriend knows a lot of car people, and we go to, like, you know, the Porsche showcases and whatever, where you see the new cars. And it's something that I wish, because, you know, you're meeting very important networking people as an adult. And I wish I'd be able to walk up to these people and network and say, like, hey, I know about this car.
Well, I have a book for you.
Right? I'm like, as a kid, to be able to teach them not only like, hey, this is really cool, this is mommy's car, this is daddy's car, this is our dream car, but for them to grow up knowing, like, I know what a McLaren is. I just recently learned what a McLaren is. So for them to be able to get it young, and then for me as an adult, because we were talking about, it's not only a kid's book.
Not at all.
And sometimes the easiest way, I learned Spanish I read kids' books in Spanish. That's how I'm trying to learn it.
Oh, yeah.
So why not learn about cars through a kid's book?
Exactly.
Easiest way to digest it, and the easiest way to get them information that's going to help them in the future.
That's how, like,
Amazing.
when our friend Katie, she started and she didn't know too much about cars. And I was like, I have something for you. And I walk in one day and she's playing with the book. And then she comes with me and she was like, I want to see if I can get this right. And we go in the garage where all of our cars are. And she's like, that's a Porsche. That's a Lamborghini. And I'm like, yes. I was like, you're learning. So, you know, a 24-year-old girl who knows nothing about cars has successfully been able to identify all her car models because of what cars say. Boom, testimonial.
And there you go. She is the best. I'm going to bring her on one day.
You have to
She's
bring
the
Katie
best
on.
Testimonial. I've been trying to get her on, and every time she's like, what would I talk about? I'm like, everything. She's
Life.
lived one of the craziest lives
Yeah.
I've ever known. But I love it. I can just see her pushing all the buttons. Because I feel like as a kid, you start pushing all the buttons and you also get used to the sounds. Because the other thing is, a lot of kids are scared of loud car sounds. We have my boyfriend's nephew is terrified if a car backfires or if it has a loud rev. He's so scared. But what better way to kind of introduce him to it, to say, like, it's not scary.
No,
It's the car's
not at all.
talking.
Exactly. It's what the car says.
I love it. And all the trivia in here, too, is amazing.
Thank you.
Because you could get more advanced as you go on, from like a 3-year-old pushing buttons to like a 7-year-old being able to pull out, you know, because all 7-year-olds are know-it-alls. I don't care how nice your 7-year-old is. They're all know-it-alls. Do you know what the fastest car in the world is? You're like, I don't know.
Well, now you'll know.
Now you will.
Now you'll know. Writing the trivia was actually the hardest part because I told myself when I was writing everything, I'm like, I want them all to rhyme. I had no idea, but it was stuck in my head, and I said it, you know, in like pre-production, and then I'm actually writing them, and I'm like, why did I commit to this? Like, why? I would sit there on like Google, like Rhyme Zone, and I'm like, all right, give me some stuff here. I need it. I rewrote them all about 100 times until they were finally right. And even now, I read them through, and I'm like, all right, no, I wouldn't change it. I'm just making sure. Like, I already have 10,000 units coming, but like,
no, I can't change it. It's
I
fine.
can't change it. It's fine. It's all right. I'm happy with it. I like it, and they're easy to understand. The vocabulary is not too hard for the younger ones. It's meant for mom and dad to read it with you, and then once you get up to like that 7, 8, 9-year-old range, you can read it alone.
Yeah.
And like you may have 1 or 2 questions on certain words, and then you know the other cool thing is I left out purposely the names of the cars.
Oh.
So it's I am a blank. And then you're supposed
That's interesting.
You're supposed to work with your parent, you're supposed to work with your friends, whatever. It's supposed to be a communal activity.
Oh.
So this isn't like you read it to bed. Like this is like you come home from school and you're like, I want to read my car book.
Yeah.
And your parents are like, all right, let's sit down and read it. It's educational. So
yeah.
everything is I am a blank. And then all the trivia is supposed to help you with like giving you clues as to like where the car's from, help you narrow it down a little bit. And I've given it to some parents and they're like, I don't even know what car this is. I'm like, that's why you go to Google.
Yeah. I'm like, is there an answer key for me somewhere? Like,
It'll be online. We didn't put it in
Okay.
the book purposely because we wanted people to work and like actually try and figure it out for
There's
themselves.
no cheating in this book.
No, we don't cheat. It's not like the math textbook where you look in the back and it has like the answers for
Don't
you.
tell the teachers. That's how I passed high school. Don't let the cat out
Same,
of the
it's
bag.
all right.
But that's so awesome that it became an activity book. And I thought it was a bedtime story, but I like it better now. That's an activity book. That it's not something that you can kind of like, okay, I read this 4 times. I memorized it. Like brain dead read. You have to like maybe one night, like 1 page a night, you sit down with your kids.
Yep.
And you're like, who's doing like the scavenger hunt online? Because in this COVID, we can't do real scavenger hunts anymore.
Facts.
Scavenger hunt online. Who finds what this car is faster?
Exactly.
And then with the sounds, there's so many games you can play with it of like, here's the sound, buzz in what the car is.
Exactly.
It's a whole party night in one.
It is. And for adults, kids, I mean, we're sitting here the other day and like the adults are getting a bigger kick out of it than the kids.
Oh yeah, Freddie loves that book.
See, I love it. Like we had the little girl here. She was so precious, and she's doing exactly what a 2-3-year-old would do. She's pushing the button. She's looking at the photos, and then her dad's standing behind her. He's like reading the rhymes, trying to figure out what it is, and he gets like so excited. He's like, "It's a Honda. I know that one." And I'm
Yes.
Like, I'm like, "Yes, you do." But like that was the whole point behind creating it. I always said it's to teach kids and remind parents.
Yeah.
So it's a collective thing. And a lot of the people on my wait list, because I sent out like emails earlier, and I was like, who are you buying this for? The shocking amount of myselfs that came in, I was like,
myself.
Yeah, I was like, all right. I was like, some people were like, oh, I have kids, I have grandkids, I have nieces, nephews, and so many were like, me. I'm like, you know what? Yes, I would too. If I saw this in Target, I'd buy it.
You're going to end up bringing, because you said you would bring some here.
Yes, of course.
You're going to bring like 10, because you're going to get like 50 orders just from here.
I would love to.
Because I want one. Freddie's going to get like 4. Like we all want them. Because again, what better way as an adult to learn, as kids to learn, to do a whole activity, and it's just really cool.
It is.
I'm
like,
just never going to get over it. That is like a real whole thing.
And it was funny because when we were doing everything in production and working with the manufacturers, it was so hard to communicate properly like what I wanted, because I didn't even know what I wanted until I saw it.
Yeah.
And I would send them like so many different photos of like regular books from like Target. I'm like, make it look like this. But there is no book that looks like this. The sound box is on the bottom, it's not on the side. Like there's certain things it took, and they weren't really great with communication. So I wasn't sure what to expect when the book got here. But me and my team gathered around, opened it up, and when I saw this, I burst into tears, because I was like, wait a second, like this isn't like a flimsy book. Like this is like my strong copy book. Like everything I wanted and pictured in my mind is what this book is. And I really couldn't have done it without my team. They're all so incredible. The connections that they have, the resources that they've been like giving with me for working all this time, like unpaid. It's just, this is our dream right now.
Yeah.
So I can't thank them all enough. They're all incredible humans.
I'm so excited for it. And I'm so excited. It's coming out today.
It is. Pre-orders are launching.
Mid-show, where can they find it? Where can
They're going to go to www.whatcarsay.com. And then as soon as you get on the site, you're going to see pre-order buttons popping up. It's a very simple, easy to use, navigate site. And all you got to do is just put your credit card information in, and then you are good to go. I'll be sending you emails here like in the next 3 weeks, just giving you updates on when I'm expecting the packages to get here. And then as soon as packages get here and I create labels, you're going to be emailed tracking as well. And with media mail, it's anywhere between 3 and 5 business days. So hopefully I'm getting these into the hands of people by the first week of October.
Which is amazing, because I have gotten packages where I paid way more and they were way more expensive than like a book. No tracking number, gets there when it gets there, whatever. So it really shows the time and care that you're putting into this, that this is your baby.
Oh yes, this is my child.
It's amazing. And what, I'm afraid to ask, is next?
I have a few things up my sleeve. I love children, and I love educating anyone and everyone. People call me Discovery Channel, so I'm a nerd. And I have a lot of like school-based educational information that I'd really like to share, but I also really want to get into something else, and I want to create a program that teaches kids real-world applications starting at a young age. So how to write a check, how to open a bank account, how to apply for loans, how to do your taxes, things like that. I'm 24 years old, and like until like 4 years ago, I didn't know how to write a check properly. It's so embarrassing to say, but it's true.
I wish I was still a kid.
Right, like that's
because I have no idea how to write a check.
Like I don't, and even now, like I'll guess myself when I'm writing one out, and like someone will look over my shoulder and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm trying not to mess this up."
Yeah,
because I genuinely don't know.
And they're like, "Oh, when have you balance your checkbook?" I'm like,
bing,
when
bing.
have I done what?
Do it needs that?
Yeah.
Like, what
Can
do
I
I
just
do?
write them and know how much is in my? I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, right. Like
that is amazing, and that is something people have been fighting for so long in the school education system, that the teachers don't have the funding to do.
No, and I thought it would be cool, especially now because of COVID. We have the more, I want to say, the acceptance of learning online. So parents are more okay with, hey, listen, I need to buy my kid this online textbook. I need to buy my kid this online course. It's normal now because COVID is enforcing that we need to start doing this learning online.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, you know, self-help courses and everything for adults online has been accepted for the last like 5-10 years. But for children, it's like, well, my kid goes to school. So like, what are you doing?
They should be learning everything.
Exactly. And like, I told my dad, because when I came to him and I was like, listen, can you help me do my taxes? He's like, you don't know how to do your taxes? I'm like, no. He goes, what does school teach you? I'm like, not
I know the quadratic formula.
Yep.
I know the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yep.
And E equals MC squared, and that's about it.
Yep.
And I've read Dante's Inferno 12 times.
Yeah, I was going to say
But I don't know
Romeo
how
and
to do my
Juliet.
taxes.
I got it memorized, like, for some reason.
But like taxes, checks, anything like that, bank account. I learned I screwed up my unemployment filing, so I had to figure that out. Like, I don't know how to do any of that. I don't know how to talk to the government.
No, and there's like things like right now, especially like look at COVID. Like my brother is 18, 19 and he worked in the service industry and he unfortunately got laid off. And so he was like, all right, what am I supposed to do? So he was doing the unemployment thing. And then on top of that, he's going to school. And I was like, listen, dude, when you take out loans, you need to understand that it's affecting your credit. He's like, my what? And I was like, what do you mean your what? And but like at 18, I didn't know what my credit was. So like I told him, I was like, look into it, get a credit card. And he's just like, he goes, why wasn't I taught this in school? And I'm like, you know what? That's just all the more reason why I would like to do something like that for, you know, kids starting around like middle school, like 13, 14. Once you start being able to work a job, spend money, you're not relying on an allowance. You actually you have an economic footprint in the world. I'd like to start educating kids on how to properly set themselves up, because even our generation, like we have so much debt. Just because people are also like, I didn't know my student loans affected my credit negatively. Like, why do I have a 500? I've never even taken out a credit card. And it's like, well, because you have student loans. And it's like, well, no one told me that. Like, I wouldn't have gotten the loan. Like, I would have figured out scholarships. I would have done something else. And it could have been avoided if someone had taught them that. But high school doesn't teach you that.
And about investment.
Yes.
I'm now just learning about investment from my boyfriend. I'm like, this is a whole new world of things. I just have money sitting somewhere that I could be investing. I could do things with. I could be putting away for retirement. It's all things that, you're right, they don't teach you in school.
And you need to know it. Like you genuinely need to know it. Like there's times where I get embarrassed. I work with like older people in like their 30s and 40s, and I go into a situation and they're talking about, you know, 401ks and stuff going on like with the stock market, and I'm just like, I have a cool kids book. You wanna see it?
Because
it makes noises. So, but people need to know, and it will set them up for success in the future. Not even just to be rich, but just to be, you know, economically savvy with your money. So you're not a victim of, oh my God, I had no idea that I had a 500 credit score. Like now I can't even get a car loan. Now I can't even get a credit card in my name. And it's like, you're just living on like a cash basis. And unfortunately, like it is 2020 and we can't be doing that anymore. So we have to teach them young.
But I love that. So I'm really excited about that. Sorry, I'm like slightly speechless because I'm like, that is so cool. Because for me at first it was like, you work at a car place. I know you've done cars almost your entire life. Car book. And I'm like, oh, it's so much more. The possibilities of it, you just literally opened up my brain to like, wow, that is amazing. And I think that we should maybe send these in. I don't know if you're a Dolly Parton fan.
I am.
Thank God.
I love Dolly Parton.
I love her so much.
I love Dolly Parton.
And she does that program where she, you know, you can send her books and she'll read books to kids.
Yes.
So I think this might be a cool thing. We should send one to Miss Parton and be like, hey, this is something, because she likes cars.
Oh, she loves cars. Yeah.
So we should send her this and be like, hey, Miss Parton, like, I think kids need to know about this.
I have a legit list, which is funny you're saying this, because like I have a legit list of celebrities that if I could get this in their hands.
Jay Leno.
Jay Leno.
I've seen his Jay Leno garage thing every night when I watch Shark Tank.
Jay Leno. Dolly Parton. May get judged for saying this, but Miss Cardi B.
Don't
love
get judged for Cardi B.
I love Cardi. I love Cardi so much, and she has a car collection. She has a 2-year-old daughter. I'm like, boom, perfect market. Offset would love this. You know, put me in a song. I got you. Like I see it. I'm gonna manifest it right now. But there's so many different avenues that this could be taken, and I'm just so excited watching people interact with it, like seeing how excited it makes you, seeing how excited it made like Freddie, like anyone that gets their hands on it, like the little girl, like it's just like, this is so cool because it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. And it's more than just a book. It brings about conversation. It brings about friendships. It brings about nostalgia. So I love this book for everything that it does and everything that it will do.
I agree. And I think it's cool too that it's a new age version of the animal book. Because I hate to say it, because I love animals. I'm a huge, like, you know, grew up riding horses and on farms and everything. But there's so few times that I'm driving. I have to drive real into like Ocala to like, oh, a cow, a horse. I haven't seen a goat in years.
We got to go to the zoo. Like, you got to go to the zoo.
Go.
And even then you got like the signs and everything. And like 9
Yeah.
times out of 10, you don't even hear the animal at the zoo. Like
Exactly.
you don't hear the
'cause they're
lion
sad
roar.
and depressed.
Yeah, you don't hear the lion roar.
But you see cars every day. I
Every
see
day.
80 Honda Civics on the road every day. My best friend had a Mini Cooper for years and years.
I did too.
This is something. She had the ones with the little, it was blue, and she had the little British flag.
She had
on
the
them.
Brit. Like, see that one has like that on the
Really?
top. Yeah. Oh yeah.
She had that, and it was the funniest thing because she's like, I wanted a green one. She's like a little puffball.
Oh.
She's the sweet. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Jessie, by the way. You're going to listen to this podcast probably tomorrow when it goes on Spotify. I love you. Happy birthday. But she had a Mini Cooper for years, and it was so cute because she's like, I wanted a tough car. I'm like, a Mini Cooper with a little.
Minis are the best, man. I had my Mini
I
for
love
2
her.
years. I love my Mini. That's why the Mini is in here, solely for the fact that because at the time I was writing it, I had a Mini Cooper.
But that's it. It brings about the nostalgia. When you said Mini Cooper, I immediately thought of Jessie. And I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. Like, what a random car from me, random to be put in there. But it has sentimentality to it.
It does.
So I think it's so cool.
Thank
and
you.
tell everyone one more time where they can get the
Yes.
pre-order.
So
Noon today.
Right today, you can go to www.whatcarsay.com. Pre-orders are open, live, ready for you. You guys are going to be able to own and enjoy this very soon, and I'll be keeping you updated all the while. We're going to be best friends.
I'm so excited. And you have to keep us updated on when the next books are starting.
Oh, of course.
because
There's gonna
I
be-
want like full process. Like, I'm
You got
super
it.
excited.
You got it.
Awesome. And thank you so much,
No,
Rachel.
Teddy, thank you so much for having me. This is such an honor. I'm so
We're
excited.
gonna go hang out. I'm gonna bring that book to the bar.
Yeah, oh my!
Just-
Can you imagine if we brought it to? Actually,
I'm telling you.
all right, we're gonna do an
We'll
experiment.
have a little box under the stool.
We're gonna do an
bring the book to the
experiment.
bar, and we'll have your cards. I love that book. 80 Drunk Guys Around You. I love that book. Great. Here's my card. You can order it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look at this.
Car
Look
shows,
at this.
everything.
I love it. All right, Sunday night when we go out.
There you go. Meet us at some undisclosed bar because we don't know where it is yet.
We don't know what's
But
gonna
some
happen.
undisclosed bar, we'll do a small meetup.
If you find us, I will buy you a drink.
yeah,
if you find
someone
us.
recognizes one of us.
I will
That
buy
car
you a drink.
girl.
I'm gonna be like, oh yes, fame. This is what it feels like. Let me buy you a drink, sir.
There you go. Be sure to catch Tedi Unscripted next week. We're going to be on Spotify, YouTube. This will be on Spotify and YouTube by tonight and or tomorrow, depending on how long YouTube. Sometimes they make me wait like 3 days to post a video, and sometimes I get it in like 20 minutes.
I know. I love YouTube so much. Love hate.
So at some point in the next few days, we'll be on YouTube, Spotify tonight, all the places you can get podcasts, and hopefully at some point we'll have some radio time that might be open that we can bring Rachel back for.
I would absolutely love that.
Thank you. And thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next week.
Bye.